Hello, everyone. This is Grandmaster Jesse Bowen back with another exciting episode of Mindset for Success. And I have my co-host and good friend, AMA alumni, samurai. There's so many things I can say about Dana Abbott. And for most of you, if you already know Dana, there's nothing else I have to say is that, he's a great person. He's a guy that always has a smile on his face, a very positive person, and, has had so much experience in the martial arts, and not only in the martial arts, but in business coaching. He has these amazing websites, these online courses. He's helping people all over the world to be able to empower changes in their life. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Really, really well today. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure. We've been, chit-chatting here for the past few minutes. And, the thing that sort of comes to my mind in the conversation we just had before we, came on the call was that you have to have fun no matter whatever you do. We're doing this because we made a connection. We both loved having fun. We have achieved certain areas of success. We're constantly educating and learning and wanting to do. So I think that's a really, key part about being successful, about being a great martial artist.
Well, if you don't go to work having fun, you won't work, and it will just, die away, basically.
And that's a really key part, and I think that we really want to start the program off today by, saying one key element I think that most people are stuck in, that we want to get them from being that stuck place by just saying is stop fantasizing. More people spend more time fantasizing on what they want in life or what would be good in their lives rather than actually, setting a goal and actually working from that. Fantasy is a good place. We in science, tell us that we have over 70,000 thoughts a day, and we know that it's hard for us to be thinking about one particular thing, so they're all over the place. So mindset, meaning that we have to come back and cultivate those thoughts. And if we're daydreaming about something that's not a part of our reality that we want, because whatever we think about most is what we actually draw to us.
Yes. With all the TV and all the social media out there, too, there's a lot of fantasy that's sort of thrown on them, too. So even if someone has a good, focused mindset, a lot of the time social media just pulls them away, and they waste more time on social media instead of setting their goals to achieve success.
And, and we know that not only social media, negative television, things that are negative that make you feel a certain way. If you're listening or watching something that makes you feel good, then, that's good. If you're, going on YouTube and you're listening to Les Brown or some motivational speaker, when you get up first thing in the morning, that first few minutes of getting up is the most important, because the things that you hear, the things that you do, it begins to activate your day. And if you set up a routine, that will also bring you into the mindset. I know we're not talking about goals at this moment, but we're trying to talk about the process of what you need to do in order to effectively have a mindset towards setting your goal. And then we're going to talking about the achievement of the goal. So the process of setting the goals is, first of all, is understand how to control your mental thoughts and how to be able to put them in a place that you can get started. And as we were just speaking a few moments ago, is really about getting started and setting the goals. Shihan, I know back, in your martial arts study, I think we need to touch on that a little bit too, because in the martial arts, there are systems that we have set up that automatically bring in a goal achievement system. And I think the belt ranking system is a goal achievement system. And if we would look at it and maybe say to our students when we talk about goal setting, person comes in, they start off as a white belt, then they go to maybe, in my system that I'm teaching from with the kids, instead of having white belt and gold belt, now we have ninja, dragon, superstar, advanced ninja. So they have 4 different belt ranks before they actually get to their yellow belt. And we did that because we didn't want to sacrifice the curriculum, so we had to break it down into smaller steps. So now you're white belt. Now you learn your student creed, learn how to bow into the door, learn how to bow onto the mat. When you walk in the door, go, hello, sir, hello, ma'am. You leave the school, goodbye, sir, goodbye, ma'am. You walk on the mat, yes, I can. So what we worked on doing is providing a positive environment to build the culture around the goal. So little Johnny comes in, he's 4 years old. We didn't say, here's your yellow belt curriculum, okay, in 90 days, we're going to test you on this. No, we broke it down to a small step. Learn your school creed. Learn how to enter the door, learn how to leave, learn how to enter the mat, learn your teacher's name. So learning how to do that back fist, that reverse punch, and the easiest things, we got them on first, and then we build a stepping stone. So I think in the martial arts, and I know you can probably talk about, back in the days when life was simpler and we didn't have all these 40,000 belts that we have now. Most systems and styles, I know in karate, basically only had a couple of ranks.
That's true. It only had a few ranks because there wasn't marketing a long time ago. In this new day and age where you bring up the word fantasy, there's a lot new belt ranking and a lot more stripes on belts because that's how kids are taught, and you got to go part and parcel, which is on the media basically. So it's hard that way. But about goals, I love goals. I've had lots of goals throughout my life. And think about it. We all have set goals at one time or another. It could have been learning to play an instrument or becoming a sports champion or graduating from school, getting a driver's license. Remember when we were 15 and a half years old and that goal of being able to drive down the street? Yeah, I'll take my little brother wherever. Getting a little older and buying a house, or becoming a black belt and start a successful business in the martial arts. My dad, he was from the greatest generation. He said to me when I was around 10, you are not entitled to success in life. Success involves self-discipline, perseverance, and hard work to achieve your goal. Personally, I learned that if we set goals to advance our well-being, that gives us more productive choices for our futures. And the more goals we pursue, the more possibilities to achieve continued success. Over the years, I've discovered through experience, the more determined you are to achieve success, the more focused you become to pursue that goal and follow through it to the end. And that's really important, following it through to the end. Actually, passing that goal is very, very hard for a lot of people. But I've noticed throughout the world, every successful martial artist and business owner had all one thing in common, and that was they had set goals, they had good aspirations, and they had a really good plan of action. Hanshi Bowen.
Well, when we come back to the plan of action, that's where we're coming back to that vision. You have to know where your destination is. And before you start on the journey, you need to have sort of breaking. Again, we're coming back, there's a kid walks in and to the dojo, and the first thing they see is the black belt hanging on the wall. And, that's what I want them to see, because that is the destination. And this is how your goals are. You have to have the destination that you want to go to before you start. It's great to jump out in your car and, we were driving to Virginia Beach or a couple of weeks back, and we were, having a lot of fun, put in the hotel that we wanted to go to. We're on a different route than we've been going, and all of a sudden we lose signal. Can you imagine the panic? Oh, my God. And I'm going, let me see, what are my options here? Let me stop to a store and see do they have a road map. How many stores now carry road maps? Because we have that GPS system that is automatic and we learn to depend on it, but we still need to have a direction when we begin on the journey of goal setting. And again, since this call is, a lot of martial artists, but it's for anyone. But, when you step out on your goal, you're like that white belt, especially if you don't have the experience or you have the experience of achieving negative goals. And that's, because we have positive goals, we have negative goals. Negative goals are the things that's happening in your life that's happening because there's no focus, there's no destination. So if you don't set a goal, you've already set a goal. So if you want to receive the positive goals, it's the same thing. You sit down, you find that first step, you begin to work that curriculum of that first step. You want to go on a vacation. The first step is to find out where you want to go, what's the cost of it, how far is it away, are you going to make the decision to drive, or are you going to fly, or are you going to stay with relatives? So you begin that process because that is a standard process in any goals. And if you want to, have better health, then you need to sit down and find out what is the problem. Maybe it's overweight. Then finding out, well, if I begin to reduce my calorie intake, that's a good place for me to start by becoming aware of those high-calorie foods that I'm eating that's creating the weight problem. The solution is begin to decrease that. The next thing is setting out a fitness program that you're going to work on that will fit your age, your body type. And if that doesn't work, then you go get your personal trainer, someone that's going to hold you accountable, and you're going to have to pay for that service. So that's what makes that service even more accountable to be able to get to that goal. Then you begin to find that timeline. When do I want to accomplish this goal? And you begin to break that down into steps. And so it's the same identical thing. Every time a student goes up in the martial arts, they get a new curriculum to set that new goal. If we begin to talk about more that white belt, the yellow belt is a goal step, and that the martial arts is a goal-seeking system, then, these things will increase the longevity of our students in the classroom, and plus have a lot of fun, and you'll see higher retention and more students achieving black belt.
Yes. Achieving black belt is everybody's goal, but, if they don't have the goals in order or they don't have that plan of action, it's really hard. And as you said earlier, the plan of action is like a map to achieve your goal and success. There are different routes and avenues one can follow on these maps. So if you look at it like a road map to where you want to go and how to get there, it works out really well. But do you have a plan of action? And if you do, when was the last time you executed it? A lot of times we have thoughts, but we don't execute them. And with a strong plan of action, your goal to success would be very clear. Back in the 1970s, my goal was to become a very successful martial artist. Had to do something after college. And I remember thinking of what I had to do to achieve that goal and wrote down my plan of action in order to one day be able to learn from the great sword masters of Japan. To achieve this, I created a vision of me becoming a proficient martial artist studying in Japan from the masters, and I really put that in the back of my head. And I ingrained it, but the problem is they were in Japan and I was in Arizona. I had to somehow get there first. So I began to plan and make steps on what I needed to accomplish first, second, and third, and so on. A plan for this and a plan for that. Everything from saving money to learning Japanese just to live in a new country and culture. Once there, through relentless commitment and daily focus, I was able to achieve my goals, and 15 years later, the title of Shihan. But a lot of times we think, what are your goals? Do you have a clear plan of action to work from? Or do you have a water goal? A goal that you can see, but it is not a clear image to visualize. More like you're underwater without a mask, trying to visualize something in the murky, unclear. Because not having a clear idea, goal, or plan leads to procrastination. When that begins to take over, your goal starts to fade away and is usually only mentioned during New Year's resolution. But we all procrastinate and drag our feet. But I have personally discovered if you spend 90 days in pursuit of your tangible goal with your plan of action, it will materialize before your eyes. And a lot can be accomplished in 90 days. A lot of times, people aren't clear and focused, and you must be to achieve your goal. Many outside forces, like we said earlier, Murphy's Law, makes achieving success more challenging and sometimes out of reach. You must remain focused to your goal at hand. Sometimes you have to reevaluate or reinvent yourself or reestablish your commitment. Just make sure you are committed and your vision of success can be achieved faster. Hanshi.
And that's very clear that in the success of any individuals. So one of the things, so I'm going to cover 10 things that you really need to do to become proficient and to add fuel in the tank for success. Number one,
I have my pen ready.
All right, here we go. Number one, your goals should be original. So many times that parents bring kids into a martial arts class, and little Johnny, mom and dad, their goal is that he comes in, he learns discipline, learns focus, because these are things that would be great for him to be successful and to be able to stay on task. So sometimes it's somebody else's goal. But what you have to do is to, once they get into it and you can create the picture, it becomes their goals. So your goals should be about you and what it is that you want to achieve. Again, those goals can be about your family, the things that you want to see about your family. Your goals can be about your health, the things that you want to see in the change of your health. Your goal can be about your financial revenue or financial income, prosperity, but it needs to be about you realizing, because many times someone says, well, I want to become rich, and they win the lottery, and 3 months later they're back broke because of the mindset that they received the money in. That was just luck. The next one is that your goals should be inspirational. It should be able to be excited about the goal, not a fantasy, something that you really want to do. I'm shopping for a new vehicle, and I've seen the one I want. I'm driving by there. It's been on the lot now for about a month, and my wife and I drove by the other day, and it's still sitting there, and I'm going, man, I sure do like that car, boy. I really do. I'm going to keep driving by there, and I have a Corvette, so I'm already thinking, is it time for me to retire, from my Corvette? I either I need to retire from it or continue to work on my flexibility training. But just it's the same thing we're talking about, is that one is not comfortable to me anymore, but there's something else I set my eyes on, always wanted it, and now I've seen it, like I'm driving by it too, probably within the next week, I'll probably have this new car in my driveway. What's the old adage? If you're not buying, you shouldn't be shopping. So it's the same thing. You have to be inspired to do something. What is it that inspires you? What would make you happy? We're not talking necessarily out of pain and pleasure, because that's inspiration too. When you're in pain or in a bad situation, then the inspiration that you're tired of feeling that pain and you're ready to get up and do something. You're ready to put the passion, that represents the goal that you're looking for. You're ready now to get out and now push yourself to do whatever it takes to be able to achieve that goal. Your goals should be something that's humorous in nature, meaning that, that you can smile about it when you think about your goal. So remember, if you're in need of money, then, or in a bad place, you may not. But if you now put up on your vision board that, you want to earn 10,000 or whatever, and every time you go by, that makes you feel good because you know your ability to be able to do that. Your goals must be realistic in nature. So it has to be something that is actually doable. You have to be idealistic about your goals. Is this the reality? Can I do this? Make your goals specific. So your goals should be very specific to what it is that you want to achieve. So that's a student that's going from white belt to gold belt. They cannot have blue belt stuff mixed in there because all that's going to do is delay their goals when blue belt is not a requirement in the white belt, the gold belt. They need to focus on that first goal. And what happens is every time you achieve a personal success goal, you should now grow in confidence in your ability to do. Because that's all that happens to the white belt that becomes a black belt is that they accomplish their goal, that white belt, the gold belt, and they're very excited about that. Then they get off on this new journey, and into their blue belt, they're excited. Now they go to green belt, and now the excitement begins to fall because they've achieved these goals. And, those are some of the easier ranks, but now you have to learn to push yourself. So many times, the bigger your goals, the more that you have to push yourself. And then in pushing yourself, my number 7 is your goals should be flexible. So meaning that if you, start on this goal and something happens, you have to still keep your eyes on it. Just because you're being redirected to another path, all it means that you just want to keep your eyes focused on the goal that you can get back on the highway. There's a traffic jam or the road is closed, your GPS system, it takes you off the road, but it never loses the pinpoint to where you're going. It puts you back on another road. And many times it gives you a time frame that if you take this route, you're going to be able to do it faster. This road here is going to be longer. It's constantly redirecting you on the path that you're on to the journey that you're trying to get to. So you have to be flexible in your goals. So if something's not going right, it's okay. It may delay you. Keep your eyes focused on your goals. And this is the reason why it's important to have a vision board, having your goals written out, having images that connects to your goals. And that's a part of that stimulus to keep you going. Number 8, you must visualize your goals. Visualizing your goals is a process. This is that motivation, the motivation of thoughts, the way the images and how to make them realistic and believable. You want to go test drive that car. You want to sit down in it and have someone to take a photograph of you sitting in that car. You want to close your eyes and imagine what it would feel like in driving that car. You want to step outside of the car with your imagination and look at how other people will see you. How would a car look going down the road with you in it? This is just one analogy. If you want to, you say, well, I want to buy a new home. Well, go out and start looking. Go out and start getting books on it. Go out and visit the homes that you desire. When people become employees at my school, then the first thing I say to them, okay, this weekend there's going to be a open house. Go out and now look at homes. You cannot look at anything under $200,000 because I want them to connect with the necessity of working for me. I have stimulated a goal within you about owning your own home. Now, if you don't want to own your home and you love apartment living, then that won't work. But if I can get you to understand that if you work and you do these things, you will produce this amount of revenue, which will now allow you to be able to make this financial purpose if you can actually see the goal. My number 9, you should affirm your goals. Affirming your goals are affirmations. I will achieve. I will do this. I will take this vacation. Every day in every way, I become better, better, and better. So you want to learn to affirm your goal. You want to learn to use positive statements. Well, I know you're going to say, well, Jesse, you cannot be positive all the time. You cannot control all the negative thoughts that come into your mind. Well, you can become aware of the negativity that may be coming into your mind that may be slowing it down by just saying, cancel, and verbally say to yourself, I do not desire to have this thought. My thoughts are positive. I will continue to focus on what my goal is. Maybe pull it out. Maybe you've written it down. Pull it out and look at it. Maybe you have a photograph of it. Take a look at it. Maybe you have it written on a vision board. Go to your vision board. Do something to keep you connected. Because with those 70,000 thoughts, they're all floating around, and what you're trying to do is gather those thoughts and be able to focus those thoughts. And my number 10, have a time set for your goals. So in other words, goals don't need to be vague in general. One day my goal is to do. What is one day? We do not have a date on the calendar that says one day. So every month has a date. So what is that date that you want to accomplish the goal? So remember, I love the GPS because it will pinpoint where you to be, where you're going. You put in the address, it will tell you you are now 500 feet from your destination. In your mind, you should know exactly where you are in your goals. And you say, well, my goal is that I want to own a new home. Well, that may not be possible for the moment. But if you say, I want to be able to own a home, by July the 15th, 2019, well, right now, as this recording is being done, we're still in August. So now you have months to now prepare. Do you need to get a second job? What do you need to do that? Do you need to clean up your credit? What is it that you need to do to begin to make those steps? And then you want to break it down that the end of the year, in December the 15th, you want to be already in that place of working on your finances or clearing up your credit or whatever that big step you need to be doing. Then each month begin to break those steps down until you now go ahead and begin to get the moving information. How much will it cost me to have a moving company? You can actually do it yourself, but in your mind and your goals, you want to say, well, I want to be at a financial place that I can actually have a moving company come in and actually do this for me. So these are 10 steps that you can start now by just taking one of them and now begin to change your life from your health life, from even your spiritual life. You can take these goals. Everything it works the same. And one of the things that I love to say about faith is that faith must have feet. If you don't do anything, you won't get anything in return. So these are 10 steps that you can start on today to start making changes.
And, I like these 10 steps. These 10 steps are basically, they're the same in every language, in every culture. Everybody, everywhere around the world, if they all follow a plan of action, they got it made. It's just not in English. So when you go over to Japan, for example, and they have plans of actions over there, they still write it down because everybody must write down stuff. Mine, basically, my time set of goals was be with Black Belt magazine in one way or another back in the 70s, because I remember reading Black Belt magazine like 1974, 75 when I first began in a little town called Prescott, Arizona. You remember that movie Billy Jack?
Yes, I do.
I lived in that town, and that's where I started martial arts with the Police Athletic League in the Armory. So I remember getting Black Belt magazine and just reading it from cover to cover, saying to myself, someday I will also be in the pages of this magazine. I immediately set goals, and over time started to reap the benefits. So if everybody wants to do their 10 steps or their goals, they have to basically start tomorrow. Start tomorrow when you wake up. Have your goal be the first to greet you when you get up. Visualize it every day. Start with a picture or a phrase taped to a bathroom mirror or refrigerator door, and every morning read it out loud or comment on the photo and acknowledge your commitment to accomplish your dreams and aspirations. Although, there's a lot of setbacks, and a lot of them are from dream stealers, our family, friends, associates, and they're everywhere. They are just looking out for our well-being as they think they know what is best for us. But change a lot of time is not part of that. I even remember my dad saying, Japanese swordsmanship? What are you going to do with Japanese swordsmanship? Therefore, sometimes our goals are pretty lofty, and you just don't know where to start or continue from a lot of the time. So at first, don't overwhelm yourself and keep your goals simple. Maybe break down your main goal to a few smaller goals and work your way to the top. This takes the stress away from having too much on your plate at one time. Therefore, spoon-feed yourself smaller sections. And this reminds me, as we spoke earlier, black belt ranking or ranking in the martial arts. Just like achieving the goal of black belt, on the way you must first take smaller steps and goals to obtain the color belt. Now, look back at all the goals you set before, comments you made, and achievements in rank, earning your various belts and accolades. Now, take a moment and think to yourself, wow, yeah, I've set a lot of goals in the past. I've done this before. Well, maybe it's your time to do it again and get back up on the horse. Set that new goal. It isn't that difficult, but sometimes we just need a leg up to get back in the saddle. And with a bit of professional coaching, you will visualize your goals and aspirations much clearer. Hanshi.
As you were, talking, and I was brought back in memory to first starting on my martial arts journey, which I'd never known. I didn't know anything about martial arts other than what I'd seen in the Bruce Lee movie, and I've driven by a karate school. And I know the very first day that I started my martial arts class, I had a need and a necessity, and that was that I didn't want to be picked on anymore. And the guy on my job was a black belt, and we didn't get along. And out of that necessity spawned the need to be able to defend myself. And now going into a martial arts school, that very first day of joining a class, I remember going into a convenience store. There was a martial arts magazine laying out, and on the inside cover was a picture of Chuck Norris, had his foot up in a chair, little old lady, him in his pants, and he had this huge trophy cup on his knee. I knew at that very moment I wanted to be a karate champion. There was nothing that my teacher did. It was the image of Chuck Norris holding that huge trophy on his knee. And that was the beginning of me desiring to be a champion. And I accomplished that from white belt to black belt. Then at black belt, I set 3 goals. My first goal was to become a second-degree black belt. My second goal was to open up my own martial arts school. And my third goal was to win the Battle of Atlanta. Those were my basic 3 goals. And when, and I accomplished the goal of, I'm a 10th degree black belt. I've won my 2 world titles. I actually have 3 of those great big trophies that was sitting up on Chuck Norris's knee. I have them in my trophy room. I won over 2,000 trophies in competition. And this past year, fourth place in the Battle of Atlanta competition was the best I can muster against the best in the world during that era and time that you had 50, 60, 70 black belts line up to compete from all over the world in the biggest, baddest competition. But, I never left sight. In fact, the trophies that I kept to remember are my Battle of Atlanta trophies, and this year I received the Joe Louis Eternal Warrior Award from Grandmaster Corley Smith and Bill Wallace as a part of the Battle of Atlanta. Even though 40 years earlier, I set that goal to be recognized as a champion, in that elite group. 40 years I held that same goal, and now that goal has manifested itself. So, Shihan, this is sort of what we're saying to our listeners is that if you hold it in your mind long enough, you believe in it deeply enough, and you believe in it strongly enough, then those goals will manifest in your life. If you're having things that you don't want happen, that are unpleasant to you, remember those things can be goals also. And you're correct, sir. If you are uncertain on how to be able to move to that next level because you are surrounded by dream stealers, then you need to invest in a coach. And that's sort of what we're doing. And a part of our theme that we are working from this year is a part of the book that we published on the cover, and it says, Empowering Martial Artists to Inspire the World. And in order to do that, we have to group together with people that want to be inspired. Shihan, any last things that you want to add to this?
Well, I remember when I was traveling around the world, because I did spend a long time outside the United States, it wasn't always the A side of the album. It was a lot of times the B side where I'd be working on a goal or a project, and I just feel lost. I just too overwhelming. The city's too big, too many people. But if I just sort of microsize, my thoughts again, I could get back out there and start doing it. So a lot of the time is don't let the dream stealers or let those negative things hold you back. Make sure it's all positive, like you said earlier, and just make sure you're the man. It's all on your shoulders because these are your goals, your aspirations, and it all has to be done by your hand because no one really helps that much. It's all on your own.
No, that's exactly right. Well, everyone, we have given you a lot of information. Now, if you log in to our website, you will also have that opportunity. And the website is www.who'swhointhemartialarts.com. We have a special tab, and it says Success Class. Let me confirm it and make sure I'm correct. And what it actually says is, that's what it says. It says Success Class. And this is where Shihan, Dana, Abbott, and myself, we are formulating probably close to 90 years as a joint combine of our knowledge and our wisdom. So you're drawing upon, almost 90 years of knowledge, wisdom, experience. If you check us out, we've written, I've written 14 books myself, and not including the Who's Who Legends books, and Shihan Abbott, he's written numerous books, online training programs. So we're really trying to bring something to you because we really feel that we have something that will help to accelerate success. Remember, you can walk, or you can climb the building, or you can get on the elevator, which seems to be the easiest for you. Everyone, if you've got the strength, the endurance to make the climb by yourself, you can do it. but remember that building is very tall. Or you can get on the elevator, use your key card, and now go to, the 125th floor. But if you had to climb it, it would take you a very long time, and you cannot get up midway of the building, decide that you're tired, because it's a fast way down. You don't want to fall down. So this is the same things about our goals. Shihan, what is your website? I know the training website for your samurai classes. What is that address?
That is learnthesword.com, www.learnthesword.com. And it's a complete website where everything's there. Everything's there. Hours and hours of good, strong education, tutorials, videos, everything that will help you work yourself, polish yourself, because as you well know, swords people are fairly focused, and having to focus on this requires a lot of information. So that's why I provide lots of information, so the ball is always in your court and you don't have to worry. And if you have any questions, just ask. It's that simple. It isn't a secret anymore, martial arts. When I was over in Japan, they didn't treat it like it was a mystery and that I'd be assassinated if I taught somebody. It was part of the Japanese Department of Education, and they go, everybody's free to learn the sword through kendo, iaido, bato, and all that. So, again, here in the United States, don't let it be a mystery. Let it be everyday life. Live it, and live it successfully.
And that's what we are doing as master instructors, is to share our knowledge, because you can't take it with you. So we can, that's right. If we can share something to make you better, then we want to become your coach, and for you to become a part of our elite coaching program. And again, we'll give you more information about that, is where we're teaming together to give you important information, to answer questions, to hold your hand, to take you step by step through a process that leads you is to the elevator. We have a key card, and just in a matter of moments, you can be on the 25th floor, and you don't have to make that dangerous climb on your own. If you're a business owner, or you are with a company and you're looking for people to come in to inspire your people, to give information, then Shihan Abbott, he has his own corporate coaching program. And sir, what is that website?
That is DanaAbbott.com, DanaAbbott.com. I started to use my name because I try to throw in a company name or make something up, and it isn't about that. It's about all these years of experience that I can ingrain into other people's heads. I can help them become much clearer, basically, because that's what it's all about, clarity. It's all about being able to do your task and do it in a simple manner so you don't stress and dwell on it and die at a young age.
And you can also reach my website, which is Coach Jesse, and that's Jessie, Bowen.com. I am a corporate educator for Duke Corporate Education, and Duke Corporate Education has been rated for years as the #1 custom corporate training program in the world. And if you're interested on trying to learn how or what needs to be done to break the corporate veil to be able to get into corporate training programs, then feel free to give us a call, send us an email, and we can point you and assist you on getting on the road to your personal success. Everyone, thank you for being in our class today. I hope that you have gained some valuable information. Remember, nothing happens until you take an action. So I encourage you to take action on your goal. Seek to be the best you can be. Remember, faith in God, and all things are possible. Everyone, this is Grandmaster Jesse Bowen and Shihan Dana Abbott saying, be blessed, and we will be back with you with a second episode. And on our next episode of our training program, we're going to be talking about the power of visualization. So you don't want to miss that class, because remember, that's a really powerful class. A lot of good information there. All right,
I'm
everyone.
a real visual guy, so this is going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be great, sir. Well, I do appreciate it. Everyone, be blessed.